Hey friends, my name is Erin. It is getting dark outside, but I'm going to be trying to film 3 videos. And the first one is my June TBR. So let's get started. Alright, I know the lighting is a little bit weird. I've already had to wash my face, so it's a little bit shiny, but you know, we're just gonna go with it because I realized I needed to get these videos filmed while I had time, and this is it. This is what we got. So my theme for June is diversity. It's Pride Month, and so I'm trying to get some diverse reads on my list. So my first prompt is LGBTQIA, and for that I'm going with an audiobook, TJ Klune's Wolf Song. This is a male paranormal romance that I have started. I'm about 50% of the way through and it's off to a crazy start. There are some things I'm iffy about, but I am interested to see how it goes. TJ Klune's writing always has me just like in a very somber mood, even if it's not somber moments, because of his writing style and how reflective it is. And it just kind of puts you in one of those spaces where you're really reflecting on life and thinking about life. And so I just have a lot of respect for him as an author. I read House on this Resiliency and have not yet found anything that kind of hit that high for me, but I have enjoyed what I've read from him so far. Book number 2, already kind of cheating a bit. The prompt is 3 or more colors on the cover, and I'm picking up Foundry Side. I've been dying to pick this up. It does not have a ton of colors, but there is blue, black, and this gold, a little bit of yellow, so I'm counting it. I have actually already read this. I read this in the first 3 days of June. Because it's summer break, I have a little bit more time, and so I've been diving into some of these books that I've been holding off on. I loved this. I'm very excited to get into the follow-up books. I do feel like I haven't heard as much about the follow-ups of these, so I'm interested to see if it kind of drops off somehow, or if maybe I just missed people talking about books 2 and 3, but I really enjoyed book 1. It is about a world where inanimate objects can be scribed to think that they are something that they're not. Kind of defies reality almost. And so you can tell a lock that it is only going to unlock with a certain key and it'll believe it. You can tell wood flooring that it is stone, so it'll be stronger. You have a girl who has some strange abilities, and she's used those abilities to become a thief because she can kind of dig into these scribings a little bit in a unique way, and she gets caught up in something so much bigger than you ever thought. There are some really good characters in this, really good plot line. I was hooked all the way from beginning to end. So if you haven't picked this up for some reason, I can only vouch for book 1, but book 1 was really good. Prompt number 3 is a diverse author. So I'm going to pick up one that's been on my list for a minute, and that is Knots and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. This is kind of a dystopian in our time. Racial inequities have been flip-flopped. You follow 2 teens from 2 different racial backgrounds, and you watch them grow up, and they realize more and more just how much those inequalities are getting in the way of their friendship, and then it starts to snowball from there, and the consequences get more and more extreme, and the inequities get more and more extreme, and it is a very intense book. It is considered young adult. I think it's definitely one of those books where it's pointing out things you maybe know and realize, but don't take time to fully consider how that would impact somebody, or you don't have to think about it all the time because it doesn't impact you all the time. And so this book reminds you that just because it's not impacting you doesn't mean you can just push it off to the side. Prompt number 4 is one-word title. I am reading Airman by Owen Colfer. This is the same author that has written Artemis Fowl. I don't even know when I got it or where it came from. It almost like magically appeared on my shelves, I feel like. I know I bought it because of the author. So I have started this. I'm only about 100 pages in, maybe a little bit less. It is a middle grade about a boy who wants to build a flying machine, and then he overhears someone plotting against his friend who happens to be the princess, and somehow he gets called the traitor instead. I don't really know how it got to that part yet, but he has to then invent this flying machine to escape prison. Very early in the book, none of that has happened yet. He's just kind of growing up and learning some things. You can see the friendship with the princess developing, but none of the intrigue has happened yet, so I'm excited to get to that. Okay, next up is my big book. I am going for Morningstar. I actually had Iron Gold on the list to read, but realized I hadn't got to Morningstar in my previous TBR, so I have to read this one first. I am going to count it as a big book because it does get above 500 pages, just barely. This is the third book in the Red Rising series, and I think it's a conclusion to the first kind of arc in that. I have really enjoyed the Red Rising series. I definitely liked book 1 more than book 2 just because of the competition aspect in book 1. I am not someone who reads political books as often. Political fantasies aren't quite my thing. I tend to enjoy them, but they end up being a 3-star book instead of a 4-star book. So I'm wondering how this series will go for me as I continue on. So far, I'm still really enjoying it though. Okay, the next one is Cover Color You Don't Have Yet. That's gonna be easy for me because right now they're all looking pretty similar. So I'm gonna pick up a Kindle book that is part of a series, and that is Days of Ice, Days on Ice. I read book 1 of this. It's a middle grade book about 2 kid-like detectives, pirates. They survived together on an island, and then when they finally got off, a bunch of people were after them and they had to solve a mystery. I don't know if they'll be solving any mysteries in this book. I don't know the plot of book 2 at all, but I really liked the dynamic of the friendship in book 1, and it felt very unique for a middle grade, so I'm putting this one on the list. Our next prompt is new setting. So I'm going to take that as a chance to read The Bear and the Nightingale. This is a book that follows kind of some folklore from Russia, if I remember correctly. And it follows a girl whose parents are kind of split between following the old ways and the new. She has powers that she has to hide, and as that fight between tradition and more modern beliefs gets a little bit deeper and wider, she has to hide those powers from people. I don't know much about it, again, but I know people love this book, and so I'm excited to add it to the list. I feel like it should almost be a winter read, and I'm reading it in the middle of summer, but I think we can make it work. For my next prompt, I have nonfiction, and I'm going to be doing another audiobook. This is Lawyer, Jailer, Ally, Foe. It is a book about the Japanese internment camp and that era when people had to be allies and lawyers for anybody who got jailed during that time, but they also were kind of being told off on the side to make sure that these people don't ever get out of these camps. So they had a very harsh balance of how can I be a lawyer and an ally, but I'm also supposed to not actually help them. So I don't know kind of what side of that story we're going to see. We're going to be looking at people who did help or didn't help, probably a mix of both, but I'm very interested to see how this book goes. I have POC Rep up next, and I'm going to be reading Binti number 3. I've read 1 and 2 quite a while ago, but I still really enjoyed them. It follows a girl who lives in a pretty remote village, and she gets offered a spot at a university that, if I remember right, is off-world, off-planet. No one from her village has been this far away before, and she is on her way to this new university when her ship gets attacked by aliens. They kind of form this weird relationship. They're all novellas, so there's 2 very short stories, and this is the third, and it is the finale. She's coming back home after all this has happened, after she's spent time at university, and so I feel like life will be very different for her coming back home can sometimes be a hard thing, especially when you feel like you've changed and you've had all these experiences. So I'm imagining that we'll all come together in this series finale. I will of course be doing a vlog or not doing a vlog. Who knows if I will get to the vlog, but the last prompt is disability rep, and I am going to be doing one of my classics that I found on my list, and it is called Of Human Bondage. It is the story of a man who has a club foot, has an adventurous spirit, but falls in love, and it kind of takes a dramatic turn. I don't know that I'll get to this one, but we'll see. I also am really hoping to pick up Lore Olympus Volume 6. Just got that book and I love reading those, so I may squeeze that in there. These are the 4 physical books I'll be reading this month. I also have 2 audiobooks and 4 books I'll be getting on Kindle or from my library. So a good chunk of reading. Hopefully we'll get through more of these because it is summertime. Maybe I'll even get through a few extra. We don't know. One can only hope. But let me know what your summer plans are. I love to hear a good TBR list, so bring it my way. I will see you all next time. Bye, friends.